Yo, what is up, YouTube? We are back with the sports photography vlogs. I'm not going to be doing as many now, but I will do them as and when I can. And kicking off tonight, if the rain stops, which is due to in about an hour, we have a Division 2 Cup final between Glendale and BSFC. So I don't know too much about these teams. I used to know a few of the BSFC players and one guy that played for Glendale, I think. But it's been about 5 years since I've done any of these. So I'll put up the current league table because it looks really close between the two of them. Which I think they're sitting third and fourth at the moment, but only 3 points off top each, and a few games in hand at least over the top two. So it looks like they're two of the stronger teams in the league. This cup final is from, I think, these teams in this league. So each league gets their own league cup, if you like. So it's down at Cove's Balmoral Stadium. Big pitch, an evening game, and I have an upgrade. So I still have the bazooka lens from the last time I did this, but we have got something inside here that maybe counts as a bit of a midlife crisis. But we have gone and got ourselves a Sony 400mm f2.8 G Master lens. This is the one that most sports photographers will say is the best one in class. So I'm excited to see how this does. However, I'm actually not going to be focusing on that in this video. I'm going to be focusing on this, which is the Sigma 200mm f2. Because the Cove pitch is really big, I'm worried that my 50-150 probably won't be long enough for the closer up shots, especially if I'm planning on sitting nearer the corner flag. So I'm going to give this Sigma a try. Took it out for some birding yesterday and the autofocus seemed fast enough to keep up. So I think it should do a pretty good job with the footballers. And yeah, I'll probably put up some of the images I get with the 400 as well in this one. And if you want to see more, you can go over to my Instagram page, which is now renamed King Sports Media, to tie in with my wedding work as well. So yeah, go and give me a follow over there if you want to keep up with my journey with this 400mm and the other two lenses that I'm interested in trying out in there as well.
Nick, first man here. Jesus. Oh, come on, mate. What's happened right here? Who's going to throw it? Yes, cards! Yes, do it. Yes, Nancy. Come on, play again.
Okay, halftime report from Balmoral Stadium. It's 0-0. Fairly even game first half. Nothing much in it, and no huge chances either. So let's see what we get in the second half. I'm staying where I am because I'm going to focus more on Glendale this half, who are attacking this end, and yeah, hopefully we'll get some goals. Right, we're back home. So, forgot to do my summary at the end of the game there. I ran over to try and get a picture of the trophy lift because they do it quite quickly. So, quick wee first impressions on both the Sigma 200mm and the Sony 400mm GM. And it's quite interesting because I think a lot of people watching this would probably expect me to come on and start raving about both of them. Now, I'm used to using the Tamron 70 to 180 on a crop sensor, so that would give me about 105 to 270 field of view, and my second body would be an A7 III with the 200 to 600. So I'm coming from using 2 zooms, jumping into tonight for most of the game using 2 primes. Now, I think I'm used to using zooms, and it's going to take me a little bit of time to get used to using a prime. And I think long term I'm going to be using 1 prime and 1 zoom, or a mixture of both. Because what I found there tonight, and it is a big pitch, but I managed to get pretty close to the front of the pitch. And what I found with the 400 was, I think it was a bit long at times for where a lot of the action was taking place, where maybe I'm just out of practice, because it's been about 5 years since I did any sports photography, and hopefully I'll have a bunch of images coming up either throughout this video or now that I'm pretty pleased with in terms of the 400. And if they're better than I maybe thought they were going to be, or I got more of really good shots that I'm happy with after cropping and stuff like that, then I'll put a wee note here just now in the video to say so, because this is just the first impressions of it. But I think because I'm used to the 200-600, I can zoom in and try and get my composition really tight on wherever the action is, and then when it starts to run towards you, you can zoom out and and track that way. Whereas with the 400, it's a lot more bitty because you're on a prime. So you're waiting for the action to come into what would be your ideal framing. And then if they keep running, they're suddenly gone and your framing's lost. And I did think this before. I did think with a primer, you have to end up cropping a lot more on a lot of your photos. That's what I really like about that 200-600 is you can get most of the way there with your composition straight away. Second half, I was probably up at about 6400 to 8000 ISO on some of the shots, and at that point I'm kind of like, look, this isn't a professional game. Do I really need to be taking a lot of photos like that? So I ended up switching my monopod camera to the Sigma lens for the rest of that half, and put the 50-150 on my hip camera, and found that Sigma, because I could punch into APS-C and get like a 300 and then punch out if the action came towards me, I found that worked quite well. So maybe should I be better off with a 300 than the 400? I don't know. A bit of time will tell on that, but that was certainly one sort of consideration or thought I had that second half. The Sigma, almost a similar sort of story. It was great for where the framing was right, but then when they got a bit closer to you and it was then getting too tight, I wish I would have been able to zoom out. So yeah, maybe I need to be less precious with my megapixels and be like start in crop mode and then punch out when the framing gets too tight. So I'll maybe experiment with that next game. But the 50-150 I found was a bit too wide on that pitch, which was kind of my fear going into it. And maybe being used to that 105 to 270 with the Tamron 70-180 on APS-C, maybe that familiarity of that range of focal lengths has got me in a bit of no man's land with these two the 50-150 being great for when you need something really close to you, but if it's edge of the box stuff, it's a bit like, oh, they're so far away type thing on that big pitch. On a tight pitch, I think that lens would be great. So I think there's midweek games coming next week. I might try and get along to a midweek game where the pitch is a bit tighter and maybe go the 50-150 and then the 200 on APS-C and shoot most of the game with that and see how that goes. So interesting start after a wee 5-year hiatus, but as I say, early days, just a first impression, so we'll see what happens as the time goes on with these lenses. If you'd like to see more videos like this and you find this quite interesting, please let me know with either a like or a comment on the video, because it'll keep me encouraged that people are taking stuff from this. I think last time I did the sports photography, I burnt out a little bit by trying to do too many games too often. I really enjoyed that tonight. It's good fun trying to track folk and whatnot. And I'm kind of wanting to take a bit of a different route, a different approach with it this time. I want to almost go at it with aim it towards other photographers that might be in a similar position to me, where they've got their main job, or in my case, my 2 part-time jobs, that allows them to fund their hobby of sports photography and options of lenses that there are, particularly for football, because there is quite a lot of range of options there. And yeah, we'll get an update on each of these lenses as we go through the year. Thanks for watching.